Hello, I'm Harriet and I'm the production lead for the second module of the Food and Drinking History resource. So module 2 follows on from 1 in charting the evolution of food within everyday life, the rise and establishment of the professional chef and changing culinary tastes. It's aimed at scholars from a wide range of disciplines, including history, sociology, nutrition, literature, geography and politics. The second module is adding about 2,500 documents to the resource, covering mostly the 19th and 20th centuries, but with some earlier material as well from the 18th century and a few early modern gems as well. The earliest document in the resource actually dates back to 830 AD, and I'll talk a little bit more about that one in a moment. So these are some of our key themes in Module 2. In global and ethnic cuisines, we have a large selection of Asian, African American and other international cookbooks from the Michigan State University. We've also got European cookbooks from the New York Academy of Medicine. In advertising and packaging, we have some great material from the Fry's collection. Fry's was a chocolate manufacturer based in Bristol in the UK in the 19th and early 20th century. And we've got management records, business accounts, recipes, financial records, lots of really interesting behind the scenes information about the company. The health and nutrition theme includes official investigations and studies into hunger, malnutrition and community health. We have field foundation reports from the Dolph Briscoe Centre for American History, and also government reports from the UK National Archives, and 17 really amazing films on healthy eating and food hygiene from the First and Second World Wars and also the interwar period. They're from the British Film Institute. In education and cooking schools, we have cookbooks, periodicals and ephemera from the prestigious Janis Bluestein Longoni Culinary Archive at the University of Michigan. And in alcohol production and consumption, we have material on viticulture and the Californian wine industry from Cal Poly Pomona. That includes the Thomas Pinney wine labels with wine tasting comments, also photos and ephemera relating to vineyards. There's a run of Balzer's Guide to Food and Wine, and also a series of oral histories featuring interviews with vineyard owners and workers. So I'm briefly going to share a couple of the highlights of the second module. The first is De Re Culinaria, which is a recipe book of Greek and Roman dishes, which originally dates back to the 4th century BC, and it was compiled by Marcus Gavius Apicius, who was a Roman gourmet from the 1st century AD. And we have 6 editions of this very famous work, the earliest of which is the document I mentioned earlier that dates from 830 AD. And we also have 5 later editions, which date between 1498 and 1909. We're also planning a special feature to provide some learning support for these documents, including an introductory video from one of our expert editorial board members and an English translation of the earliest 830 AD manuscript and a commentary on the following 5 editions and how they changed over time. And another highlight is the Julia Child papers from the Schlesinger Library at Harvard. Julia was the doyenne of American cuisine in the 20th century and one of the first celebrity TV chefs. And her papers include menus, filming plans, tour itineraries, and a great deal of correspondence and notebooks, and all of which gives scholars an insight into her television shows and appearances and how they were put together, and the introduction of foreign cuisines into the American culture mainstream. So that's a very quick introduction to the second module, the food and drink.